Hello, my name is Eric Francis and I'm a painter. I also do some teaching and videography. You can find my paintings in private collections. I also do a few festivals each year, like Critical Mass, Bloom, and Art Melt. I also do festivals, like the Let the Good Times Roll Festival and the Red River Revel. But some of my favorite work is painting murals. I was part of the team that made the Millennium Moon Mega Mural. It's the large mural that you see in downtown Shreveport on the old AT&T building. What you're watching here is me painting a lovely little portrait. I have about 100 different portrait painting tutorials on YouTube. And what I want to do is help you guys to create better portraits. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips. Now, these techniques are portrait painting techniques, but you can apply them to different areas of art. Like I use the same techniques to paint the sky in the background and the flowers that this woman is holding. So let's get into it. Alright, so our first tip is to sketch your ideas. Ideas are fleeting. They appear and they disappear really quick sometimes. So you have to capture them in a sketch. And they're not always fully formed, so you have to work the ideas out. So here are some early sketches I used to make the painting at the beginning of the video. After I made these sketches, I decided to go with B for the color scheme I was going to use for the painting. Then I made another sketch because I want a really clear idea about the direction I want to take with the painting. The more I clarify and solidify the idea with sketches, the easier it'll be when I get to the canvas and start the painting, because I know exactly what I want to do. Tip number 2 is to plan your approach. What this means is you should know how you're going to do what you want to do. I start with a color chart. I pre-mix the colors so I know exactly what colors I'm going to use when I get to the canvas. I also organize my area the same exact way every single time. I go through a mental checklist. I got to make sure I have my brushes, my paints, my canvases, and water all set up the same exact way. It seems a little OCD, but it helps a lot. It helps to get you in that artist zone. It's that state where you seem to disappear and the art just flows out of you seamlessly. Now, if you're not organized, you interrupt that flow to say go look for a brush, or you got to find some paint, or maybe your cup of water is dirty because you didn't refresh it. Once you get out of the zone, it's difficult to get back to it. So what ends up happening is you just get frustrated and you quit. And you could avoid this just by being a little more organized. Tip number 3 is to paint in stages. Because I paint in stages, I always know where I'm at in the process. So I can look at a painting and know where I'm at and what I need to do to finish the painting. For me, it's a 4-part process. So the first stage is to create an underpainting. I start by making a detailed drawing. I then paint it with a thin layer of paint. I'm not trying to get too detailed, I'm just trying to get an idea of where the light and the dark values are going to be. Stage 2 is building up color. At this stage in the painting, it's like you're putting together a puzzle made of paint. So we're adding color and we're making sure that each color has its right placement and its right shape. You don't want to try to do too much this early in the painting because you could lose the likeness, or you can get confused and lost in the process. By moving forward this way, we keep it simple and clear. So we're at stage 3, and stage 3 is blending. Now, blending is mixing paint on the canvas, and this can be challenging with acrylic paint because it dries so fast. So what do? We blend in layers, and the amount of layers really depends on the quality of paint that we're using. The more expensive paint uses less layers, and the cheaper paint uses more layers. And that's because the more expensive paint has more pigment, so it covers better. The less expensive paints have less pigment, so it doesn't cover as much, and you're going to need more layers. We've now entered the fourth and final stage of the painting, which is adding finishing touches. At this point, you've probably been staring at the painting for too long, so we take a break. And when we get back to it, we see it with fresh eyes. Now we can see the things that we've been overlooking. We fix them, we change a few things, and we finish off by adding highlights. Let's do a quick review of the things that we've discussed. Tip 1 was the sketchy ideas. You want to capture them while they're fresh on your mind. Tip 2 is to plan your approach. So you want to make a color chart and organize your area before you begin. And our final tip, tip 3, is the painting stages. By doing this, you'll always know where you are in the process and what you need to do to finish the painting. It's far too easy to get lost in the middle of a painting. This will help prevent that. And the stages are: you make an underpainting, we build the color up, we blend, and then you add finishing touches. And one last thing, don't quit. Where you start isn't where you finish. Because I know that painting sometimes can be a bit frustrating, but you'll be a little further along tomorrow than you are today, and you'll be that much better if you don't quit. Peace.